I've had many teachers in my life, but I've tended to gravitate towards some lessons more than others. I like to be effective. Cyril Forel taught me to dance with the blade like water, using the speed and accuracy of a prowling alley cat. Jaqen Hagar taught me how to think critically about dwindling resources and opened my eyes to the true world of death. The Hound taught me self-reliance, how to survive in a world that most often wants you dead and at best doesn't care that you exist. Everyone who made my list taught me vengeance was a reason to live, to avenge every slight of blood committed against me and mine. The House of Black and White, well, they taught me the most. Beyond their well-known motto, Valar Morghulis, all men must die, I learned how to hide in plain sight, how to defend myself without eyes, how to kill a man with a hand so subtle they don't even know they're dead until their face becomes mine. They taught me how to be no one, and everyone, and myself. The house was a temple to the many-faced God, but there were no sermons, just altars from across the world that people would pray to, sacrifice to, and often die in front of. Something tells me the God approved of that last one the most. "What do we say to the god of death?" Sirio always asked. Well, I suppose that depends on which face he wears. The Greyjoys know him as the drowned god. I was raised calling him the Stranger. My brother saw his face as the Night King. At least before I stabbed him into frozen dust. There are so many lessons they teach you when serving the many-faced god. It took a long time to learn just how deeply those lessons truly go. The hardest task was learning what his servants, the faceless men, meant when they referred to killing as giving someone the gift. They would discuss the target, but if the servant knew the person, they always said, "I cannot give them a gift." I never understood that. I thought they were foolish for an order of world-renowned assassins. Each night I repeated my list, I would not help but wonder, what does it matter if you know who you're killing? I mean, killing is killing. Plain and simple. Ending a life that needs to be ended for anyone that can pay the coin. Eventually, I left on my own terms, having learned all the skills of the faceless men, and began to finish my list, while finding even more offenders. Every death crossed off a name, bringing my family a little more balance in the world beyond. And I might have enjoyed some of them a little too much. Walder Frey fed him his family, then ended his life. Littlefinger slit his throat. Oh, thanks for the knife. The Night King shattered his soul, melted winter's strife. Soon enough, I found myself in a castle being torn apart by war. I came to kill a queen, but I had not yet decided which one. Making my way through the dungeons, I heard a cry of ultimate suffering. I had heard that sound many times on the battlefield, after sacking of a town, and on the altars of the House of Black and White. I might have made that sound when I saw my father beheaded. I know that wailing cry all too well. I found my way into a cell whose scent was one of decay. I saw a woman hanging from chains, sobbing, bleeding, but still alive. She seemed as though she was shriveling as the days went on, but it was still stubbornly alive. The body hanging next to her was not so lucky. A slowly rotting corpse that, on closer look, was once a young woman. They might have been related. I ask her name. She mumbles a response that might have been Eliara or something similar. I feel I should know her. On an impulse, I ask for her story. Through hacking sobs and dry throat, she told me of her family's failure to stage a coup against the Lannisters. How her last daughter was hung next to her and fed poison by Queen Circe. She was forced to watch her daughter die, kept alive out of spite for months. All for Circe's twisted justice for her own child's death. In that moment, I understood everything. Everything I'd failed to learn. I knew then why the faceless men always referred to themselves as no one. It was not for the anonymity of assassination. It was because a person can fall into revenge until it consumes their entire being. I was lucky, spared by the gods, or the one god of many faces. Take your pick. I had learned ways to take my revenge. But the amount of blood on my hands was not a stain of absolution. It was not anything but blood. And if not for a few twists of fate, it would be me hanging here, either dead or utterly broken, wishing for the end. I also knew in that moment why the faceless men refused to take the life of someone they knew to any degree. The more you know someone, the deeper you understand them, the more likely that emotions will influence the kill and extend the hate in a cycle that never ends. I knew that the faces on the wall did not always come from those the agents of death had killed. Sometimes it was the only payment a man could offer for his prayer. But mostly, I finally knew why they called death the gift. It was the only hope one can offer to someone who is broken beyond saving, to someone who is dying, but can never end their own pain. It is the greatest kindness of equality that someone can offer another being with nothing left to live for beyond sorrow. Valar Morghulis, all men must die. But the manner and reason beyond the death matter more than the death itself. I felt myself smile softly, a type of genuine smile I had not used for too many years. I dried her tears with my fingers and told her, I understand your suffering, at least in part. I can do nothing for your daughter, but I can at least help you see her again. I drew my knife across her throat so gently, she never would have felt it. I gave her the gift, released her from suffering and pain, and took on her cause. I searched again for a queen to kill, but no longer out of spite, rather out of obligation to everyone who has suffered from the actions of a monster. Giving her the gift would ease the spirits of millions. From that moment on, I was Arya Stark. I was no one. I was everyone. So remember your words and actions. Those who have suffered at your hands. You never know who has prayed hard enough to pay our toll to collect your debt. Live your life in kindness, such that the faceless men will not add you to our collection. After all, it is a lovely face you have, and would look delightful on our wall. And if you do not heed my warning, one day a stranger will approach you. The stranger will approach you with a welcoming smile, saying, "I have a gift for you.